like monitor what they're doing, right? Like I see a lot of strata places, and you can even do this yourself, is like through the hallway, they'll just get like that frog tape. And anytime there's a mark, they'll just tag it along, right?
Great tip, actually.
So you can do that yourself and take the picture before and take the
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bamboo, Vancouver's property management and investment podcast. This week, I am back with Jordan from Jordan's Professional Movers, which, as you might have guessed, they're a professional moving company. So basically, we're going to get into some ins and outs, DIY, reasons why to use you, reasons why not to. Sometimes, who knows? Without further ado, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hayes. I love this podcast. I love what you're doing here. So I'm always happy to come and do this.
It works out.
Right?
Perfect. So one of the questions is, now I see, and I always kind of make a joke with my clients and that I personally hate moving. And I think it's funny that my entire career is based on getting people to move. You have jumped full on into it and actually do the moving part.
Yep.
What prompted you to do the job that everyone hates to do?
Well, to be fair, I've moved myself and I hate it.
Exactly.
Once you can take your personal stuff out of it, it's a lot easier to do. But yeah, it's been an interesting career. I kind of fell into it. Yeah. My friends needed help moving this one time, and they had a company, and so I said yes. And then they just kind of started always hiring me whenever they needed extra help. I find with a lot of professional movers, a lot of us are independent contractors.
Yeah.
So we work within a couple different companies and stuff like that. If one truck can't fill me up, then I'll go to another truck, and hopefully I can get work there. So with that, you start meeting a lot of different movers and a lot of different people, and you work for a lot of good people and you work for a lot of bad people, unfortunately. And that was basically what kind of got me going. I just started working for a couple bad people, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe that there's people like this. And that's what pushed me to start my own company, so that we could avoid these horrible people that are in the market right now. And,
absolutely.
You know, because like I met so many good movers as well. And it's just like, okay, like let's stop working for these guys and let's work together and let's, give a good experience, and we can all make money doing it, and we can give recommend from our friends and families and all that type of stuff, because you need that alternative right now.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny you're talking about some of the bad movers, and from working in many strata buildings and that, man, I've talked to some of the building managers, and they're telling us, like, oh man, this mover showed up and they were like stinking like alcohol and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man, we don't need a DUI mover smashing your stuff and then driving their truck into something. Like, holy hell. And so I guess also with the industry, the bad actors can get in there because there's not really a bar. Like, get a truck and post a sign. You could get business from this, right?
And that's the thing. That's the difference between getting like a good mover and a bad mover, right? If you have a bad mover, they're just trying to get bodies to come in and like help move the stuff.
Yeah.
They don't really care about the job. It's about getting the job done. Where if you have a good mover, it's about having the right people to do the right job and to do it properly. Yeah. Because like, I don't want to just, give you the bill and then leave and like stack up that thing. I want to sit there and I want to move you. I want to move your friends. I want to move your family. I want to move everyone. So I want to make sure that you have a great experience. Yeah. Absolutely. Right. And that's the difference between a good and a bad company. Is a bad company, they'll just hire whoever it is, right? Like, oh, this is a 3-person move, and they'll book the move. Yep. And then that morning try and fill and try and get the people to do it, right?
So not like preset.
And it's not preset. They'll go on Craigslist. They'll go on to Facebook. And they'll just be like, hey, I just need somebody, and then they pay horrible money to this person. And then of course they show up drunk or, a lot of these people, they just, how do I say this properly? This is all getting recorded. You get some people where they're just working for the weekend and that type of stuff, right? So they'll come and they'll work for you a couple days, and then you pay them their paycheck, and then they go out and they party all night, and then they even have a job the next day, and they can't make it to work the next day because they partied the night before, right?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So it's like you want to do the vetting process properly so that you have the right people coming in and honestly representing who you are and what your values and what makes sure that.
So since we're on the topic of good and bad movers, what are some good ways to find out whether you're dealing with a good or bad one? I mean, I'm assuming Google reviews, but let's face it, sometimes those reviews are a little out to lunch too, and you can buy them on a farm for plus or negative uses, right? But
yeah,
what would some good, I guess, like prodding questions perhaps be, or anything in particular that would?
I think the best thing to do is, first off, is ask your community, ask your friends. Everyone's hired movers, or most people have hired movers.
Now that we're older.
Yeah, so you can kind of figure out, don't use this company, maybe use this company, right? And then once you kind of figured it out, like who the recommendations are, because it's all recommendation business these days. Most movers don't know SEO and stuff like that, right? Yeah, that's a really good question. Is you want to make sure that they're insured. You want to ask different questions, like their hourly rates. The more transparent a company is, the more safe you can trust with them. If they're just like very,
like just pass over things,
don't
worry about it. Like I got it, kind of thing. Yeah, that probably is a
red flag. It's I know with my company, it's when you book with me, when you get a truck and that type of stuff. I am like, before I even confirm with you, I make sure that I have the truck and I make sure that I have the guys and they're scheduled to go, and then I can go ahead and say yes.
Yeah.
Some companies out there, they'll just be like, yep, and like we covered before, they'll just sit there and try and book it the day before.
Find anybody,
find anyone to do the job for them. So it's ask lots of questions, try and see how transparent they are. But I think like Google reviews are good, but like honestly, word of mouth is so important, because
I find with any Google reviews anyways, I always look at the middle, because like the 5-star, great, the 1-star, usually some Karen freaking out about something silly. They're not putting the other part of the story where like, oh, these movers were terrible. Like, yeah, you didn't show up to let them in, so.
I had this lady, she got mad at us because we put her mattress in a mattress bag. She's like, oh, you put it in a garbage bag, and in big red letters that said twin or queen or something on it, and that could have stained my $7,000 mattress. And I'm like, that was the product. Like, you kind of like you're gonna get those people from time to time, right?
Absolutely. So we all have those experiences.
Take everything with a grain of salt,
right? So for moves, because obviously you move all sorts of different spaces and whatnot, what would a typical move, per, product, let's say 1-bedroom condo, 2-bedroom condo, house obviously is going to take longer. What would you say like as an average move for these?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. Usually a rule of thumb that I go with is it's about an hour a room.
Okay.
Right. So if you have a 1-bedroom house, that's going to take 2 hours. You have 1 hour for the bedroom, 1 hour for the living room. And that's to load the truck. Now, things always vary. You might have stairs, you might have elevators, so things kind of fluctuate, but that's usually a good way to go about it.
And then
unloading,
well, right?
Yeah. And then when you unload the truck, you're looking at about half the time, like 2/3, about half the time. It depends as well. Stairs, elevators, stuff like that. If you have a straight chute, you can unload a truck within an hour. It's not a problem. But that's usually how I'll do it, right? So if you have a 1-bedroom apartment, I'll go 2 hours to load the truck, about a half hour to get to where you're going or whatever it is, and then about another hour to unload the truck. So you're looking at about 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Most people put another hour of travel time on that. So you're looking at about 4.5 hours for a 1-bedroom, right? And 2-bedrooms is 1 more hour, 1 more hour, 1 more hour.
Yeah. So. Okay. So now with that as well, like when you load the stuff in, do you load it back into each room, or like what's the sort of operating procedure? And you just put everything in the living room and you'll figure out.
Right. Yeah. Well, as a customer, that's up to you. Most case scenarios, we'll put everything back to where we found it or where they want it. A lot of times people are wanting us to like disassemble their beds or their couches and stuff like that. So with that, they also want us to assemble their couches and beds.
Is that a service you guys offer? Like, I didn't know. A lot of people are like, will move anything. Like for instance, like a lot of painters, they don't like to move any things because they're worried about breaking little trinkets and stuff. I get that, but like, will you guys disassemble and reassemble beds and stuff like that?
100%. It's part of the job.
So you're good at IKEA?
Well, is anybody good at IKEA?
No, nobody is.
The job is like, I don't want to disassemble. Like, okay, that came out wrong. I want to make the job as fast and easy as possible, right? If I don't have to take apart the bed, if I can fit it through the doorways and the hallways, I'm going to do that.
Of course.
Most jobs, you're going to have to disassemble the bed. So we're very well equipped with that. We have tools on our trucks. We have carpet runners on our trucks. That's not to disassemble, but it's just to cover the floor and stuff like that. We have all of our tools, our dollies, our mats, so we're always fully ready to go.
Yeah.
What was I going to say to that point is, Now, with my job is I charge, it's an hourly rate. Well, I break it down to like per 15-minute segments, right?
Okay.
But it depends what you want as a customer. Yeah. Sometimes you don't care what the price is. You just want the job done from start to finish. Easy. I can do that. Some people, they want to be a little bit more conscious of what the price is going to be. Mm-hmm. So they'll take the time to disassemble the beds so that we can just come in and just take it apart or like take it. And then we'll put it wherever they need it and they'll assemble it. So it's really what you want done. You know, sure. I offer a packing service as well. Like if you don't want to pack your house or don't have time for it or whatever the case is, you know, we'll come in the night before and we'll pack it all up in boxes and stuff like that. Oh, that's something that we always want to do or like, you know, but it's if that's part of the job, then that's part of the job, right? So it's what you want, what you have money for, what you want to get covered.
Yes, it's all something like an a la carte. You can kind of pick your services here.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Some people will be like, hey, just throw it all in the garage. And I'm like, no problem. Like, I love those jobs.
Well, it's funny because you started talking about a bit about what people are wanting as far as disassembling and that sort of stuff. So I guess disassembling would be something to save the money. What are a couple of other tips for somebody who has hired you to save some money, i.e. hours, and that when they're packing stuff up, like, what are some good ways to save? Because everyone needs to save a couple bucks these days.
Right. That's the truth. The disassembling of the products, getting everything ready for us is always good. Usually most people, and here's another way that you can find out if you have good professional movers, is most movers will take your boxes first and they'll load those onto your truck first.
Okay.
Right? If they're not doing that, watch what they're doing. No, sometimes you have, like, I have a 5-ton truck, so you don't necessarily need to put the boxes in, but 99% of movers will move your boxes first. Okay. And that just even comes, you don't want your boxes at the back of the truck. You open up the truck, they fall off.
Okay, that makes sense.
They close the door, you can't get into your truck. There's a whole bunch of reasons, right? But like, we'll always come and grab your boxes first, and then we'll do your bigger stuff, and then we'll grab your miscellaneous, your stuff from your garage, or your shreds, your bikes, stuff like that, right? So if you want to really help things out, disassemble everything, have boxes easy to grab, have those by the door, have clear pathways. You know, we get to a lot of places, and like a lot of people, they're living in their home, so you kind of have to work with like a living, moving situation and stuff like that, right? So they'll leave their front door. They'll have like all of their shoes there, their umbrella thing, like clear out all of that. Keep that as an open space for us. Because the faster we can move, the faster it's going to move things along.
That makes sense.
Just small little things like that will kind of help things out. Stay out of our way. Stay out of movers' ways.
Yeah, there's a ludicrous song with that.
Yeah, it's a great song. Pay attention to it. Usually, if you want to help, the help is more at the end of the move than helping, because we're loading the truck a certain way. Yeah. You know, most professionals, we're always working with the same guys usually, so we understand how each other's work. So we don't really need to communicate what needs to be done. We just kind of know what needs to be done.
I gotcha.
So if we're having to explain that to the customer, it's harder at the end when we're unloading the truck. There's a lot of stuff, like single stuff, that we kind of put to the side. Yeah. Grab that. That'll help us out so much. We don't want to do the single stuff anyways. We want to do the loads of boxes and the couches and stuff like that.
The heavy lifting, if you will.
Exactly. Just kind of like let us be our things. Let us wrap our furniture. Yeah. The more spaces that we have to move,
that's good.
Better.
Now you mentioned that you have a 5-ton truck.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different sizes of trucks. So typically, what size of a truck would you need for what thing? Because we do have some DIY. Obviously, you're gonna, take the tips that you gave and use them because save your money. But so typically, like, let's say for a 1-bedroom condo to a 2-bedroom condo, is that the same size of truck, or can you get away with one? Or
you could get away with. Like, so if you're only doing like a 1-bedroom, a bachelor, or something like that, you can get away with just a 1-ton truck. That's easy. I've used a 1-ton truck a lot. Yeah. Most U-Hauls that you see on the road, those are 1-tons. Okay. Or like some of them are 3 tons. But you're basically dealing with that space. Actually, if you ever want, you can go on the U-Haul website and they have like like description of how big the truck is according to how big your place is. So that kind of gives you an understanding of what kind of size truck you need.
Yeah, because it'd suck to have like the wrong size truck and be like, now what?
You get a lot of people, they'll try and save money and they'll try and save it on the truck. So they'll have like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house or something to that effect. And they only want that 1-ton truck. They go, oh, well, it's cheaper to do it that way. Mm-hmm. But then what ends up happening is we have to do 2 loads. We have to do 3 loads, right? And that is going to put a few more hours onto your bill, opposed to if we had that bigger truck, a 5-ton truck. Yeah, we could do it all in one load, and then so getting the right size truck is always important. Most movers will kind of help you along the way. I don't want to bring a 5-ton truck to a bachelor. It doesn't make much sense for me unless it doesn't matter, and then also, but I don't want to take a 1-ton truck to a 4-bedroom house either, because then I'm going to be there all day. And my job is not to make money. It's to get the job done as fast as possible. I have a family. I want to go home. I want to relax. I don't want to be at your job all day, right? So I'm going to do what I can to make sure this job gets done properly and efficiently. So, 1-ton trucks. Most people in Vancouver will do with a 1-ton truck. If you have 2 bedrooms, I would look at a 5-ton truck. It's better to have more space and not need it than not enough space. And, recently I went to the 5-ton truck just because I just wanted to have a service that I could for everyone.
Yeah, you just can show up and we're good to go. Yeah, fair enough, man. So you did touch on that you do have a packing service. Mm-hmm. What are some good tips to pack your stuff to make sure it doesn't get broken? Because a lot of moves, they all pack in the kitchenware, especially glasses, and then you come in and it's just shattered.
It's horrible.
So what are a few tips to make sure that you don't just bust it up? I mean, old school methods were always just stuff newspaper down there. Mm-hmm. Not that newspapers exist anymore, but that's what you used to do. So okay, what's that, right? I just see it online. It is squirrel. Is that still a good idea, or was it even a good idea before?
100%. A good rule of thumb is less is always more, especially when you're packing boxes. When you're doing dishes, stuff like that, the old school newspaper, you can go to most movie packing stuff and they'll have sheets of newsprint paper that you can use to kind of do it. Try and separate things a little bit. Don't put all of your plates all in the same thing. Most people, they'll get the biggest boxes and they'll try and throw everything in their big boxes, and then it gets all weerd and you can't carry it and it's really heavy. And I'd rather have 20 small heavy boxes than one big heavy box.
Yeah, I get you.
It just makes it easier. If you have really fragile stuff or stuff that you're worried about breaking, leave that alone. Just leave it and get the movers to come in. And we have the supplies and the equipment on their truck to take care of it. Right. So if there's a really, glass shelf or whatever, we'll wrap that ourselves. We want to wrap that ourselves. You could wrap it. Most times I'm going to look at it and unwrap it and then just rewrap it myself. Right? Well, it's my insurance. If anything happens, it's on me. I don't want anything to happen. Right? It's not that I don't trust you. Yeah. It's just I trust myself a lot more. Yeah. Right. And so if there's stuff that you're really concerned about, let us know. We'll take care of it. A lot of times, some people, they'll keep their clothes in their dressers and stuff like that. Yeah. And then they'll put valuable or not valuable, but breakable stuff within their clothes, which is a good idea. Mm-hmm. But let the mover know that that's there. Because when we put stuff in the truck, it's not always the same way. We'll put a dresser here and then we'll put another dresser on top of it, but we'll flip that upside down. Okay. So if there's breakable stuff, it's going to break.
It's crushed. Right?
So if I know that it's breakable in there, I'm going to either take the time to take it out and make sure it's packed properly, or I'm going to be a lot more careful on the truck of how it gets placed in.
I was going to ask you, speaking of breakable stuff, stemmed glassware. How the hell do you pack this stuff? I have moved a few times and it never, most of them get through, but there's always at least 1 or 2 that never make it. So what is the trick, man? How do you move this? I'm walking around like this all the time. It's hard. It's kind of like a little bit of a puzzle piece. You want to have a lot of kind of that's where the paper comes in, and pillows and stuff kind of come in, so you can kind of do them opposite. And it sucks. There's I've lost many a martini glass, my friend.
It's I think about it. rarely break things. I think I've broken maybe 3 things, and I think 1 or 2 of them have been a wine glass. Most moves, nothing gets broken.
Yeah.
But, there's always that variable where something small will break. So I guess you kind of always have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Movers, we're not trying to break it. Like, trust, we do not want to be known as someone that breaks stuff, right? So I know that whenever something has been broken, I've always taken the time to talk to the customer about it and make sure that I've righted the wrong and make sure everybody's happy with it. Because
of course, that's a service thing, right?
You hired me to make sure.
when you screw up, just own it.
Yeah, own it. It's a lot better than hiding it and the customer finding out later and then having to explain yourself that way. It's just better to be like, hey, this happened. This is why it happened. I take full responsibility for it. How do I fix that?
I tell this to a bunch of our tenants because when we're doing our move out report and something's just mangled and they're like, oh, that was like that when we got here. I'm like, no, it sure as shit was not. But like, just tell us, like, if the blind, some of these places have these cheap ass blinds, the developers always use the cheapest thing. But like, if your blinds break and you just call me like, hey man, I was trying to pull up the blinds, the cord snapped, there's blinds everywhere now. Chances are I'll be like, that obviously wasn't your fault. Yeah, they're cheap ass. We'll figure out a solution and we can fix your damn blinds. As opposed to just, oh, they're hooped. My bad.
Yeah.
Right? Or
you off like you're an idiot. Like like try and hide it. Like you're never going to find out. And then, it's just, yeah.
Well, then things happen. I understand things accidentally break. Like we had a house and the kid was playing with the ball and they cracked the window. Tenants just called me up and said, hey, they cracked the window. I could talk to the owner, explain what happened. Kid was playing with the ball. Owner's like, you know what? Like, we'll just get it done. No, not a huge problem. I think they ended up splitting it like 50-50. Like, people are reasonable if you're upfront. So you're coming out and just saying, yeah, I accidentally broke this. Sorry, dude. I think we'll go over a lot better than trying to sweep it under the rug or something. Right?
Well, the same thing is like, I want to move your friends and family, right? Yeah. And if I'm like,
shifty,
like I said, man, I'm as transparent as I can be, right? It comes from the pricing, to the way I move, to the people I'm using. Like any question you have, I will always be 100% upfront with you because
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. This is what pays my bills, so I'm not going to mess around.
Now, with all these moving, you've been doing a lot of moves, and all industries have weird things that come up.
Yeah.
What is do you have any like super weird or tricky ones that you had? Or you're just like, wow, you came home and like, dude, you won't believe this type of thing, right?
I've been thinking about this question. It's weird because most people have the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like they all have that IKEA shelf with the 8 things in it, and they all have boxes. Like everyone has it. It's funny. Everyone has the same stuff. So it is weird when you come across weird things. I know that there's a few like really whacked out jobs that I've done. I can't think of them right now, but like a few things that happened is I was in this guy collected models or something. I don't know what it was, but like everywhere was bookshelves. Like the every single room was just bookshelves. And I filled up like the truck 3 times with just bookshelves. Wow. Not the stuff in the bookshelves, but just the bookshelves. And that was pretty crazy.
Over to library.
Yeah. There was one time we were moving this cannabis dispensary, and they had this it was like the size of a dresser, just taller. It was a safe, and it was a cast iron safe, and it was so heavy. It took like 5 or 6 of us to move it, but it had to go down the stairs and then up the stairs. It was the worst. I hated this job so much. You very rarely get things like that. Yeah. Which brings me to if you have something heavy like a piano or an upright or something like that, let us know.
Yeah.
Please let us know. A lot of times there will be an upcharge on it. It's because I will need to bring in someone else. But honestly, it's better if you let us know than us coming to me and we're not equipped for this. We're going to have to leave your piano here. It's not something that we want to do, but don't try and pull the wool over our eyes or something, and try and get the smaller truck and the least amount of guys. And because the thing is, we're doing this every single day, right? So it's if you goes over, it's going to suck the next day for us. And
trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Like, I think at some point in time you're going to notice if there's a piano there.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, all this stuff out of the room except for that big.
Except for the piano. Yeah. Well, you just go up the stairs and blah. No, we're not doing that. There's two of us.
Right. So I guess this is actually a pretty good segue, because the question was, is what are some things that people don't realize about moving that you think they should know to make their experience smoother, less stressful? And I mean, imagine being up front and saying, hey, there's a piano here, bring the right stuff, will probably lower the stress.
Yeah.
There are any things that, like, I guess you'll show up at a job and be like, why didn't they tell me that ahead of time? Or this would have been nice to know.
Yeah. I had a customer the other day said they were moving their mother, and they're kind of a hoarder. And you're like, okay, that's good to know. That's good stuff to know, because you know what you're walking into. What was it? Sorry, I lost my thought for a second.
You're talking about ways to make things smoother.
Yeah, I think one thing, this isn't necessarily smoother, it's just good information to know, is it seems like most people don't realize how much stuff they have or how much stuff they don't have.
Okay.
So that's kind of like when you get to know the truck, the sizing of the truck is a little bit better, because like so many times I'll be loading stuff in the truck, and like I said, it doesn't just go all nicely. We pack stuff on top of it. We load up that whole truck because we don't want things to move to side of there's lots of reasons why we load a truck a certain way.
Yeah.
But most people will be like, wow, I can't believe it, how little a space it's actually taking. Yeah. Or sometimes people will think that they don't have very much stuff, and they'll be like, oh, this truck should be big enough.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure you know what you have.
You need to have like that Tetris mind.
That Tetris mind.
So you know everything goes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like good movers, once you like book a move with them, they'll do kind of like a walkthrough of what a day typically looks like.
Okay.
Where we're going to come in, we're going to take your boxes, and then we're going to wrap your bigger furniture, and then we're going to load that into the truck to lock in those boxes so they don't fall. And then we'll come after your other stuff, like your storage units. A lot of times customers, they'll forget they have storage units, or they'll forget about crawl spaces or stuff like that. And that's always at the end of the move that they remember. And that's always the worst time to tell the mover that there's a whole new room that you need to, because like I said, we're packing stuff a certain way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think know what you're moving and remember it, and like, hey, we have a storage unit downstairs. So a lot of the times I want the boxes in the storage unit. The tires that are in there, those are going to go on the truck last, or the bikes are going to go on last, but there's stuff in that I want. And the way I'm packing the truck is because like, if my truck isn't completely full, I have to make sure that I pack the truck so when it's taking a corner, it doesn't fall over, or your stuff doesn't fall inside the truck and stuff like that. So I'm packing the truck based off of what I know is there. So if all of a sudden you come up with a whole new room, now I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to have to unpack the truck a little bit. I'm going to have to repack it. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get things done now. So I don't think that's like per se a malicious thing or something. I think that's just things that's something that people always forget about.
Oh yeah, I've got a few tenants that have. I've made many a call. Like, I still have your Christmas tree, dude.
Yeah, I had that. Hey, can you come back? We forgot we had this.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, man. Like, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. But yeah, I don't think it's malicious, especially with people moving. Like, they're stressed out. They're got so many other balls in the air. They just they forgot about the one that's down in the basement that they visit once a year to go get their Christmas tree out or whatever.
I think it's part of my job, as I always say. It's like, moving is stressful, so half my job is to take away the stress from you, so that you can focus on what you need to do, and that I can focus on what I need to do, because moving's stressful. You know, it's all your personal belongings, and there's all this emotion connected to everything, and you want to make sure that we're taking care of it properly. And plus you have like your mail, you got to switch over all your bills and for work, and then probably your kids are at school, so this needs to get done by a certain time so you can go pick it. It's a stressful day. I understand that. So when you have good movers that understand that, it really helps. So.
For sure. Now, we've just been talking about the stratas and stuff like that, and understanding that you're insured and such. But can you walk us through what happens? Because like, all stratas take a deposit for damage. You know, hallways, elevator, so on and so forth. What happens if a strata gets a ding in the wall? And that, like, how does that go? So that's really important to know as a tenant. That's something that you should really be talking with.
because ultimately that's on you. That's not on the movers. Mm-hmm. Our insurance is mainly for the stuff on the truck and stuff like that, right? We are responsible for the hallways and the stuff, right? I'm not saying that we're not. I'm just saying that as far as Strata looks at it, it's going to be the tenant that comes on it. So if you see a mover that dings it or breaks the shade of the light in the hallway or something, call them on that, make them pay it, because it's going to be you. The Strata doesn't care which moving company.
Yeah, they just want the money.
They just want the money, and they're going to come after you, right?
Yeah.
So, like I always say, like, make sure you have professional movers to take care of this, right? But like, monitor what they're doing, right? Like, I see a lot of Strata places, and you can even do this yourself, is like through the hallway, they'll just get like that frog tape, and anytime there's a mark, they'll just tag it along, right?
Great tip, actually.
So you can do that yourself and take the picture before and take the. Mm-hmm. So if there is any sort of discrepancy, you can be like, no, this was here beforehand. Yeah. But yeah, like.
That's a solid pro tip from me. It's the frog tape on the wall.
Frog tape on the wall. Anytime you see a discrepancy of anything, mark it. Because like, you get bad landlords. There's a lot of bad landlords out there.
They are.
I felt so bad for this one lady. She was so clean, like, and the landlord came out because she had like dirt on the window seal or something, like on the track, and was trying to take away her damage deposit for that. And she was crying, and I felt so bad for her. Like, but you just get some landlords that they're just.
There are some that are like out for blood. I've from working in this industry, I've seen both sides of the coin. There's great landlords, there's horrible landlords. There's great tenants, there's horrible tenants. And it's just like you understand. Most of the tenancies are fine. Mm-hmm. You only hear about planes that crash, right? But like, man, some of these ones, when I first started, I was just dealing with some landlords. I was like, holy hell, like, you are just generally not a good person. You need to calm down, kind of thing, right? Like, you're dealing with another human who is moving out. Like, sorry, but it happens, right? But they always, like, some landlords, they just want to take the entire damage deposit. Doesn't matter what. And it's like, that's not how this works, guys. Yeah. It's not a bonus for moving out. Okay, like, you gotta be fair and reasonable. Is what you need to be. Yeah,
I used to work for this guy, actually. He was a tenant. He had a lot of different places, and the way he always approached things, sort of, sidestep, but he always understood that, like, bringing in a new tenant is a lot of money. You have to repaint, you have to do all this kind of stuff, right? So he was always a really nice landlord where he'd keep things a little bit cheaper for you, and he'd want you there for 10 years.
Yeah,
like, those are the landlords that you want, that understand that, hey, there's a give and take when it comes to having this property. So
for sure. And that's the thing with landlords, they have to realize in a lot of cases that longevity is the key. So if you have to get $100 less than the top rent, but they're going to stay there a lot longer, you're going to be better off, because vacancy is expensive, right? Like, $2,500 rent not coming in, that's $2,500 is zero, right? Yeah. Like, you're better off to take that $2,400 and have them stay there for a long ass time.
Yeah.
But everyone's got their different business model, but I find we kind of jokingly call it landlord math. It's just like, no, I really want that. It's like, if it's vacant next month, it's going to take you 25 months to get that $100 back. That's 2 years and change.
Yeah. It's called a loss leader, right? You take a little less so you can get a little bit more over here.
Exactly.
Right?
So, and then, as you had mentioned about shifting around in the truck and furniture, and what are some good ways to protect your furniture to make sure that it doesn't get dinged up and whatnot?
Yeah.
Especially IKEA furniture, because it's...
I'm going to go on the record right now. No moving company will ever insure an IKEA.
Okay.
I'm telling you this right now. If you have an IKEA shelf, that stuff is meant to bring it home, build it, and leave it. You know, it is better to just buy new IKEA stuff and pay for the delivery fee than have me come and move it.
Fair enough, right?
It's anyway.
So nobody insures IKEA. Don't move your IKEA stuff. That's your takeaway.
But this is where professional movers come in really handy. All movers have blankets or pads on the truck, and then we'll wrap it with plastic and stuff like that. That's for two reasons. It is to protect your furniture. The other thing is to protect your walls and your door overlays. Because every now and then we might hit the wall or whatever, right? And if it's padded, no problem.
And then you
got a sharp corner, it's going right in. You don't need the frost tape. So that's how you make. There's some people will go in and will go to wrap the couch and they'll be like, I don't care about the couch, just move it the way it is.
Yeah.
Some people they'll have a suede couch and they'll be like, please wrap this.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if like rain gets on it, man. Holy hell. Vancouver's bad for that.
This is your stuff. If you want it wrapped, tell the movers to wrap it.
Yeah.
If they're like, no, it doesn't need wrap, you're like, I'm paying you. You know, like if it takes an extra 15 minutes, I'm paying for that extra 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Please wrap this. You know, no mover should ever argue that anyways, but I'm just saying for argument's sake. But yeah, all movers will come in and they'll take your stuff and they'll wrap it properly and efficiently. A lot of us will sit there and we'll take a picture afterwards as well because we want to put it on social media. So we're proud of our work, right? Yeah. We want to show off what we do when we come into our house. Yeah. So yeah, that's how you protect your furniture is make sure that it's wrapped.
Is that stuff available like if people are doing it themselves, can they rent that from U-Haul and stuff or?
Yeah. So U-Haul has like wrapping blankets. They're not very good, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Most movers will have like moving pads and they're like $15 a pad. Mm-hmm. Like they're very expensive, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
You can buy them. I know a lot of times you go on Marketplace, a lot of people, they'll just kind of like transfer them around. So they'll buy them and then they'll sell them to you on Marketplace and you'll do your move and then you'll sell them on Marketplace.
I get you.
You know, then they'll come to me and I'll be like, oh, I'll buy all those moving pads from you. Right. So yeah, you can buy them, but like, and like if you are trying to save money on your move, you can wrap everything beforehand as well. But like the movers will have better product than you. Like U-Haul, they sell this like plastic wrap. It's kind of green. It has like a green tinge. It's shit. It's horrible. It rips easily. The stuff that I have, it's a nice thick gauge. So like it holds it in place and stuff like that. So, you know, you can wrap most of your stuff, but if there's stuff that you care a little bit more about, put that to the side. Let us take care of that.
Okay. That makes sense, man. Wicked. Well, I've kind of gone through all the questions that we had.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for coming on the show and that.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to get a hold of you to hire you or pick your brain about how to wrap things, what's the best way to find you?
Right now you can check me out on Facebook, Jordan's Pro Movers. You can email me at jordanspromovers@gmail.com. I remember if it was professional or just pro. I do have a website, Jordan's Pro Movers. Google it. Check it out. I'm most places with a simple Google search. You'll find it. You can actually ask a lot of your friends and family. They will also recommend me.
Nice.
So there's that way as well.
Yeah, we'll have all your contacts there in the description.
Yeah, right here, and here.
Yeah, be all good in the hood. Wicked. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you,
man. And if you've been listening this long, thank you very much for tuning in to Bamboo, Vancouver's property management and investment podcast.